Good morning, Hero Wars fans. In this video, I would like to talk about what I consider to be the ideal team composition. Please note that this video is not a discussion of specific team composition, but rather an abstract concept in Hero Wars. As you all know, in the case of Titan battles, there is no such thing as which Titan is the strongest, and every Titan has opponents who are not good at what they do. The Fire Attribute Titans are strong against the Earth Attribute Titans, but have a hard time winning against the Water Attribute Titans, so it is like a game of rock paper scissors. In any hero team composition, there will always be opponents who are good at what they do and opponents who are bad at what they do. In Hero Wars, there is no team composition that is absolutely strong. However, while there are some excellent team compositions that can play to the advantage of most opponents, there are also some team compositions that are clearly useless. As you can see in this image, the opponents in arena and guild war battles are not always less powerful than your team composition. However, by referring to overall strength when selecting opponents, we can infer the level of development of the opposing team. In other words, the most important factor in Hero Wars combat is to guess the level of training of the enemy team based on their total power, and challenge them to a match against an opponent you think you can win. Hero Wars battles are not won or lost based on overall power alone. So even if your opponent's team composition has a higher overall power than your own, it does not mean that you have decided to lose the match. I'll talk about a team composition that can be called useless. I consider a useless team to be a team composition that cannot win at all if its opponents are more powerful than its own team composition. When the overall power of your opponent's team composition is superior, it's no wonder you can't win, right? Some of you may think this way, but Hero Wars is a game where if you make a good team composition, you are sure to have opponents who are good at what they do. And the most important characteristic of a useless team composition is that it loses to an opponent with a lower overall strength than your team. Useless teams are not easy to beat, even if the opposing team has less power than yours. To win a battle in Hero Wars, you have to think hard about how and when to defeat the enemy, and I think the useless team has a weakness in this area. The useless team is characterized by its inability to find a strategy, such as whether to eliminate the enemy team within 30 seconds of the start of the battle or to fight slowly in a long battle that lasts longer than 1 minute. I will talk about this in the next video, but in a nutshell, I believe that a team composition that does not clearly define which hero's skill activation will defeat the enemy team is generally considered to be a weak team composition. For example, none of the game users should expect Astaroth, which plays the role of a tank, to take down the enemy. The main reason why we employ Astaroth as a tank in our team composition is because we need his resurrection skill. In other words, Astaroth is beneficial to a team composition whose strategy is based on the premise that when 4 heroes other than Astaroth are defeated in battle, the defeated hero will be revived by Astaroth. Thus, when devising a team composition in Hero Wars, it is necessary to imagine the battle in terms of who survives the enemy's first skill activation and who is responsible for defeating the enemy team's hero. It can be said that those who continue to use useless teams are lacking in this perspective. So, does your team composition take this into consideration? I'm thinking of this team composition as a hybrid team of magic attack and physical attack that can work against any opponent. I am proud to say that this team composition is not a useless team composition. Thank you for watching the video until the last part. I'll see you in my next video.